Hello, everyone. I wish I could see your faces, but this is a Zoom meeting, and this is an update for the design for the multi-generational community center. Today, the focus is going to be on the finishes, sort of the concepts, and then at the end of the week, we're going to show you actual finishes. So this is where we are. This is the interior design and furnishings workshops. And then after this, we're still working on the documents throughout this whole process, but then we are going to finalize the construction documents, update the cost estimate, bid the project, and have it ready for Springtown meeting. So in the interior design approach, we start with concept boards just to get the look and the feel of the space. And we thought that the majority of the common areas would be light and airy, sort of a residential feel, homey and welcoming. So a lot of light colors, woods, natural hues, and some paneling, as you can see here, to break down the scale of the space and add interest. So bringing you up to speed on the plan, um, we did from the last meeting, we talked about expanding the multi-purpose room, and we did do that. We moved the storage room over here and enlarged this exit access area so that you can easily bring tables and chairs into this area. So now we have this. I'm going to show you in a blow up the details, but we have a welcoming reception area of, and then here's the program rooms. Here's a blow up of the multi-purpose room. So the kitchen is located here. We have a pass-through window to the multi-purpose room here, and also a pass-through window to the lounge. The administrative wing, we have a few changes. We made the reception desk more welcoming. So as soon as you come in the door, you're looking right at the reception desk. And this portion would be a low height. And then there's a standing height counter here. And we put a door so that the administrative staff can enter here and then also access here, which gives better access to the conference rooms and the program rooms. So health office, waiting area for the health and professional service, and then an additional office. We did make the change that we presented at the last meeting of putting the card room here and moving the conference room into two smaller conference rooms, which we're calling program rooms because they can be used for small programs. And then the billiards activity room, we are getting into more detail about what can actually fit in here because I went and measured your existing billiard tables, and they're actually smaller than what we were showing before. So we're able to fit, we've got a number of different options, but this one is showing this as can get a ping pong table, a table for poker, a little bar with a TV on the wall here, and some lounge seating and bar height table seating so that you get a nice view looking out, a nice light here. So this whole wing, then we have a soundproof wall here and here. So this is all sort of the fun activity space for games and so forth. Second floor. Oh, wait, one other thing. I'm sorry I didn't mention. We've relocated the elevator here because of some structural reasons. When we got into working out the details, there's a large footing under this column, so we couldn't get the elevator pit. So pretty much switching the stair and elevator, and the stair could be built at a later date in a later phase if need be. This is the second floor showing the new elevator location. And again, we're not really doing any work up here at the moment. And this, if if the stair is in, it would be right in this area on the first floor and here on the second floor. So now let's get into the fun stuff that we came for. So we've got some inspiration photos here for the lobby lounge. Some, again, some woods, light colors, casual seating, reception desk. Here's inspiration for the grab and go area. We're looking at pulling in an accent color. We're looking at actual finished samples that are on order that we're going to show you at the end of the week. But here's some, this is luxury vinyl tile, which has a wood look. It has some nice blend of warm and cool tones. And here's a carpet that we're looking at for the lobby and the lounge area, which also has some nice blend of warm and cool neutrals, which will be very soothing and comforting, and some light fixture. We're looking at a number of different pendant fixtures. So these renderings we had shown you before. They've been updated to match all of the plan changes that have been done. Here's the reception desk, which is a little different configuration, and the door into the reception area. We have a walk-off mat as you come in the entrance, and we're showing a table here with the sign-in monitor, and there would be a scanner here as well. There's a pocket door that you could close to close the lounge off if you wanted to, but there's a nice wide opening directly opposite the reception desk, so you can, as you come in to the building, you can look left and see the lounge, right and see the reception desk. Another view of the lobby lounge. Looking back towards the entrance door, it's where all the light is coming in. And this is looking down towards the multi-purpose room. Nice big wide open space. There's the wood look tile that I pointed out, and carpet. There would be an area rug here. This is the accent color that is surrounding the grab and go area. And we're proposing a wood screen between the main lobby and the lounge to give a little bit of privacy and add some interest. Another view a little closer up, you can see the grab and go where you can set out food for buffet. This is looking in the lounge at the feature wall, which would have bookcases, cabinets, and a fireplace surround with a stone and some cafe seating and some soft seating. And again, you could see this is the paneling detail that I showed you in the initial slide. This is an inexpensive way to get some nice detailing and to create that sort of residential look that we're going for. This is standing in the lobby, looking towards the lounge and also towards the multi-purpose room with the wood screen. And these windows look out towards the main entrance, the parking lot. Multi-purpose room, the inspiration for the multi-purpose room, we looked at a lot of different types of ceilings. We have a lot of space to work with. We've got 25 feet from floor to floor. So in the large room, like the multi-purpose room, it's really nice to have high ceilings. So we looked at square type ceilings, vaulted ceilings. Here's some finishes that we're looking at for the multi-purpose room. This is the same flooring that I showed you before for the lobby. And we have some wall covering and some gallery lighting. Here's a rendering of the current design for the multi-purpose room. Here's the vaulted ceiling. We have at the top, it's 14 feet, and there's a little strip of acoustical tile here. This would be sheetrock ceiling forming the vault. And then you have a perimeter light cove that really lightens the space and really creates this nice luminous ceiling. Around the perimeter would be also some acoustical tile. We have a movable, well, actually, this is a divider that would come down from above the ceiling to divide this room into two. And right now it's in the middle of the room because we increased the size of the room to take up the whole space. So looking down towards, this is the feature wall where the presentations would be in the event that you have this room open as one. There's the window here to the kitchen. This is the door leading to the storage area and the exit. And this is some paneling just to sort of balance out the elevation. We have wall covering on all of these walls, and then some accent wood paneling surrounding the entry doors. And TV monitor on the side walls for when the room is divided, and also for people that are sitting too far back to be able to see at this wall. There would be some additional viewing possibilities on the side. This is looking the other way from the multi-purpose room towards the windows. And you can see the two TV monitors here, the wood paneling around the doors that lead back into the lobby. And here's the lighting. The billiard room. We thought that the billiard room and the card room are some areas where we want to kind of get a little bit, have more fun, make active, bring more color. And so we looked into things like the vintage lounge feeling, some deeper colors on the walls, some wood paneling, and some different interesting lighting above the pool tables. And on this side, we're showing some of the actual finishes that we're exploring, that we're going to get samples for at the end of the week. Here's a carpet that would go under the pool table, and wall covering that is on the wall in the billiard room. Here's a rendering of that room. There's the wood paneling, wainscot, the wall covering, some sconces to brighten up and sort of add some nice ambiance. Statement light fixtures over the pool table. And we're looking at this wall as an accent wall, whereas this wall covering would go on all the three other walls, and then this one would be darker. And then we have a dark ceiling with a border. Here are the seating right along the window. You can see the light coming in from the window into the room. The card room, the mahjong room. So inspiration, we had a lot of different ideas here. Some soft, comfortable chairs, bringing in a lot of extra color. And here's some finishes we're looking at for the wall covering and carpets and light fixtures. Here's a rendering of what this could look like. With the wall covering, there's a built-in in here that could house games and so forth. And this room is set up with 4 card tables. That could be for mahjong, be other types of cards. We're looking at the furniture as these sort of larger chairs that are soft and kind of make a strong statement. And then light fixtures over the tables. Restrooms.
How do you want to get
Yes.
how do you want to get feedback? Because
So we can After I'm done, we're going to have questions, and
Okay.
I'm happy to go back to the slides for people to give feedback if you'd like to do that.
That's
It's a
great. We
little
have one
harder.
question.
I'm
We have one
sorry.
question. We have one question so far, so we'll wait till you're done.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're almost at the end, so we can come back and have the questions. So the restroom, uh, we have group restrooms and we have individual restrooms. So in the group restrooms, we're looking at something like this, where full height stall doors would be tile floor, tile on the wet walls, or possibly actually on the group restrooms. We're looking at, if we can afford it, tile on all walls. But through this whole process, we are evaluating the different prices of the products, and we will be back and forth about what is actually within the budget. So we'll make sure that that is all taken into consideration. So at a minimum, the tile would be on the wet walls where the sinks are and where the toilets are. And in the individual restrooms, we're just looking at tile on the walls with the sink and the toilets. Here's some samples of actual tiles that we're going to be looking at. And again, we're also looking at the pricing of all these to see. I'm sorry. This is a flooring, and these are wall tiles. And we're looking at wall sconces for the bathrooms as well. Future outreach, we're right here on the 18th. We have scheduled November 22nd for the interior design finishes in person, where we can actually bring you samples of material so you can see. And then December 6th will be a further development of the interior design with the final finishes. December 19th, we're going to be looking at the more into the furniture. And then January 10th, the budget. Questions? And I'm happy to go back to any of the slides to help you form your question.
Um, so if people have questions, they can use the hand feature. So we have one raised hand, but before I get to that, we have two questions in the chat. So one is, can you explain how the grab and go area would be used? You mentioned buffet, but where would seating be for something like that?
Okay, let's see. So this is the grab and go area. So it's sort of an alcove off the kitchen, so that when you're looking through this door, you don't actually see the kitchen. There's a sliding door. This would be for events. There's also a possibility of getting some food, uh, what do you call it? These food cases where you can see the food and people can come up and order from that. So this is being developed. Let me go back to the renderings. So your question again was, how does it work?
Yes. And where the seating would.
Oh, the seating is in the lounge. So you would come up here, you would get your food, and you would go sit down at one of these tables or at the sofa area. Does that
Okay.
answer your question?
It sounds like it answers the question. All right, now I'm gonna go to Pete Allen. You have your hand raised, so you can speak.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. So I think it was one slide past this one where the nice wood that you see on the wall there,
Hmm.
uh, maybe it was another picture, but it indicated that that was open, was it?
Yes. It's a screen.
So I'm thinking that that screen would be better to be solid. I mean, I like the fact that it looks different, but I think from the standpoint of noise, it ought to be something that should be closable, and perhaps most of the time you'll want it to be closed.
And the reason for that is that you would,
Well, you show somebody sitting right there, and in the next slide you have people sitting 6 inches away. That's the one.
yeah.
I think they wouldn't want to be sharing their conversations. And I think that the people who are in that lobby area might not want to hear all the conversations going on at the front desk and the grab and go area, at least less so than if it were solid.
Okay. We'll take that point and think about it. Thank you.
Consider that N equals 1 market research.
Okay, so we also, thanks, Pete. So we also have we have one question asking what the square footage is of the existing senior center versus the planned senior center. The current senior center is 8,655 square feet. The proposed senior center space for phase 1 is 15,900 square feet.
We actually have
I'm sorry,
16,930 now.
That's even bigger than the last presentation. So it's 16,930 square feet. So it's more than double.
Yeah,
So
so we've expanded into this space with the storage, and then some of these areas now are part of the senior center space, the support areas.
okay. Another question says, I thought that this area was for seniors until 4 or 5. I think this should have been presented at the Forbes building. Just response to that, we're using all different ways to communicate with the public. So this particular one is virtual. Others are in person. We've done at Forbes building, we've done them at Town Hall, and we've also done them at the Senior Center. How many seniors play cards during the course of the day at the current senior center? Are 4 tables / 16 people sufficient? So I think we have someone here from the senior center if they want to respond. Also, I don't know, Nancy, if you want to speak to that and why we have the current number of tables that we do.
Well, we did start out with the program for 400 square feet for the card room, and we actually have 430. So that is pretty much 4 tables. And it really has been this size since we started the planning. So is there some concern that this is not big enough for that? We also have space in the billiard room, as I explained, for another table. This is shown that it could be a poker table, like a round poker table with 6 chairs, or it could be some other kind of card table or that people could play. So you can sort of use both rooms for those functions. So.
Okay. Someone's asking, how are questions that were previously submitted over email being handled? Would someone be replying to each submission? We typically do reply. If it's just a suggestion, it's forwarded on to the design team. So I think for that person, I recognize the last name, that suggestion was forwarded onto the design team.
So are we getting an email with these questions?
Nope, I'm just answering the questions, Nancy. So
okay. Okay.
Yep.
Got
And then would there be some rooms or areas where food and drink would not be allowed? Currently, I don't think we have any areas in the senior center where food and drink are not allowed. So that would just have to be contemplated as we move through sort of building use and building operations. And then does anybody else, that's all the questions that were typed into the chat. Does anybody else have any? Oh, is there a ping pong area? I think there's a ping pong table showing in the billiard room currently, but there is not currently a ping pong area at the senior center, I don't believe.
Right. So I just wanted to mention on the billiard room, we did look at multiple options for laying out this room because it is big enough to put more activities than just the 2 billiard tables. And we want there to be more activities. activities in there because we want it to be a very lively, vibrant space that everyone will enjoy. So there is an option you could put this particular one shows the ping pong table here. You could also have a shuffleboard table there. So, you know, again, if you want to say this is a poker table and a setup for a little bar and TV. So if people have other ideas, I mean, I don't know if there's a strong interest for ping pong. I know Jen had said that there's going to be ping pong upstairs. So maybe that's where you want to put it. But there is an option to put it in the billiard room if that's what people want to do.
Okay. Martha, I'm gonna let you ask your question. You should be able to speak. We just have to unmute.
Now can you hear me?
Yep,
I can hear you.
Okay. I just I think repetition has been wonderful because I can actually understand now how the senior center is laid out. So thank you for I know you've done this so many times. I asked a question about the card room only because I've been coming to this late in the game, and I was wondering if at some point was there some analysis done as to what the senior center, how the senior center functions now. It's like, well, if we're going to have this type of speaker, it's attended by 50 people. If we have this type of program, it's attended by 20 people. If we have cards, normally people like to sit together and they'll be playing together. So I just, I four tables in a card room might be fine. I'm just curious as to, how we decide what's enough for the card room versus enough for the billiards versus enough for there's two rooms for programs. Was there some sort of kind of analysis of how the senior center is used now so that we make sure that we at the minimum provide that, but it sounds like we're exceeding our needs, our current needs, which is wonderful.
Yes, I mean, right now your billiard tables are in the multi-purpose room, and there really isn't enough room to get around them to play as best as you would like because there's columns in the way and
Right.
chairs and tables.
Right.
And so it's a whole different game to have a special room allocated for those functions. And we also go by what our experience and what we've done in other centers as well. So,
Okay.
but
Yeah, I mean,
again, this is specific to Westborough. If people want to make any changes, if you have other suggestions, this is the time to do it.
No, actually, my question, and may not even, Nancy, maybe it's not really for you. It's in general, what kind of analysis was done beforehand, before they sat down with you to say, these are our needs. This is what we need to have. Because I know a few times, I've been to the senior center a few times, and the billiards tables are always in use. So, I don't think there is a card room right now. I've seen tables set up different places. So my question is, was there some sort of analysis of how the senior center is used now? So to make sure we not only provide what we have existing, but even potential for more in the future.
Yeah. So I think, like we said, this is double the size of our current senior center. So what's laid out here, there was a lot of stuff. There was a lot of slides in previous presentations to show the comparison of the multipurpose room. So the multipurpose room is designed to accommodate the size of existing programs, when the very large existing programs as well as other programs. And then we have multiple program rooms, which would be equivalent to the craft room. So you're correct that it goes beyond what's accommodated currently by the senior center, and also it accommodates certain functions that currently cannot happen at the same time simultaneously because of the way
Yeah,
that it's laid
yeah.
out. And then kind of beyond that, as we look at the whole building, that's really why we're doing so much public engagement, is to understand what folks want in the rest of it. But yes, it accommodates what we currently offer, that we cannot offer simultaneously is able to be offered simultaneously in the proposed space.
Okay, and I'm sorry, the slide that's up now, Nancy, that is equivalent to 16,930 square feet?
No, it includes both of these. Yes.
So this is the slide that has the whole space. All the colored area is 16,930.
Okay,
And then we have a 12,870 left over in the building for future
yeah,
use.
okay. But the area that is part of phase one is 16,930 square feet.
Yes.
And includes the billiards room, the card room, and all the areas that are in color. So
Yep.
that's significant.
Yes.
That is significant.
We have a couple more questions, so I'm
Okay.
gonna go to the next one. Will there be USB ports to plug in iPhones, Androids, etc.? Is one question.
Yes.
Okay, great. Easy answer. We got some good feedback from the lighting, just saying they love the lighting options. Could ruin a space even with good furniture if you have bad lighting, so that's good. And then kudos for the process so far, so appreciate that comment. I don't know, Nancy, I don't have any other hands raised, but can you go back to the room where you're showing the card room and the proposed kind of finishes? That one. Yeah. I'm interested to get folks' feedback on this.
Yeah, I would like to hear the feedback as well.
Yeah.
This is this different? It's intended, to be a fun, different space than the rest of the building. The two rooms, the card room and the billiard room. But it's also trying to consider other cultures that, we have a lot of different cultures that are coming to this building. So trying to bring in some Asian.
So someone asked, how will we decide on the fashion and style of each room? Ultimately, we'll have to make those decisions probably with the municipal building committee, but looking for feedback into, so that from these exact sessions. So giving your feedback on things like this is really, really helpful. I have two people who want to make comments, but I also got a comment that says, I don't like that room. It's too busy. So let me.
Yeah. I mean, this is our first pass at these concepts, and this is where we want to have this discussion because, we want to zero in towards a solution that everyone's happy with.
Okay, so I'm going to let this person talk. It just says Zoom user, so.
Hi. I don't particularly like the purple room's wallpaper. I love the color of the chairs, but the wallpaper and then to put a television in the middle of it, I can't look at it for me. And I think a lot of people my age, I'm 76, and I just think it's too busy.
Okay, good point.
Something milder would be lovely. Purple is wonderful. The color is wonderful. But something milder, maybe a stripe or, something different than that. I'm sorry, but it's just
no, that's totally fine. I mean, this is an idea, and it's only one idea. So let me just.
We actually got a similar comment in the chat saying that was too busy from someone else. So just giving that feedback.
So can I get the person who just talked about the card room? Do you have any comments about this room?
Am I still unmuted?
Yep. No, we can still hear you. Yep.
Okay, good. I have no problem with the card room. I play cards, and I know not a member right now of the senior center because I don't always have my automobile, and it's hard for me to get there. So with the new one down at Bay State, I can walk. So
Mm.
um, I understand that they have pitch tournaments, and I don't know if they play bridge or pinochle or some of the others. But is there a way you can make the tables round and put 5 tables in there and move them around a little bit? Is it big enough to do 5 small round tables?
I don't know if round tables are as versatile for the cards with the mahjong and all. I'm not sure if that, I don't think you're going to fit.
Well, I don't mean on the mahjong table you have in another room, right? In the billiard room, isn't there? Is that where the mahjong table is?
No, this is a round table that was like a
Oh,
poker
that's the
table.
poker table.
Yeah.
Um, the room is big. I don't see why you couldn't position the tables in a way where you could fit 5 in there.
You mean this room right
In
here?
the card room,
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
your reason to want to put 5 in is just because you're afraid that there's not going to accommodate enough people?
right. Because they
C-
play cards a lot, I guess. And I think you'll draw more people to the senior center now because it's closer and it's closer for a lot of people to get to, easier, more parking.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, if you put more tables in there, that you may have a hard time getting enough clearance for
Yeah.
wheelchairs to get around.
Oh, yeah.
So it's really pretty much sized for 4.
Yeah.
But if we
I,
needed to, I mean, I don't know if it's important enough if we wanted to revisit the size of the room, if that's something that is, um, you know,
well, I think they can always use the common room if it overflows, can't they?
the common room. You're
Yeah.
talking about the multi-purpose room.
The multi-purpose room. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as there wasn't an event going on, I would assume that that would be available.
Yeah.
Okay. We have 2 more comments. So I'm going to go to the next person. Martha.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think the card room with the current decoration um is a little too busy. I would prefer to see something that is a lot more neutral. Colors, come and go in cycles. And I think if we could do something that's more not as soft as the green, that soft green that you showed, Nancy, earlier,
Hmm.
but not as bright as the purple and the flowery wallpaper. So something that may stand the test of time more.
Okay. Good point.
Thank you. So I have some other questions in the chat. Says, will there be any patios to accommodate gatherings outside? Currently, there's no plans for patios. We're restricted by our reciprocal easement agreement, but I think we've heard expressed interest in some outside space. So, I think that's not part of phase 1, but maybe we'll explore it further. I will point out, and I know it's not directly adjacent, but at the other end of the common, or at the other end of Bay State Commons is the Bay State Green, which is owned by the town. And so I expect we'll get more use out of that space as well. But certainly I've heard folks who are interested in outdoor space right around the building, which I think would be a future phase. And then one question, how many people are at the senior center at peak times? I'm curious about the number of restrooms. So Nancy, do you want to speak to how you determine the number of restrooms?
Okay. Yeah, I don't have that document in front of me. And let's just go back to the plan. If you can hold on just a second, I'm gonna. Well, we calculate the restrooms by determining an occupancy at peak times And that would be where the multipurpose room is busy. Probably not all of these rooms would be full at the same time, but we came up with a number that was I can't remember what that number is, and I will get that if I just don't have it off the top of my head. Oh
It's
wait,
okay.
here
I
it
think
is.
that we were just wondering how you did it. So it sounds like you do it based on
So
anticipated.
there is a formula that is the plumbing code that we have to establish how many people are going to be in the space, and I did find my documentation here. So we're looking at building occupancy at a given time of 268 people. And with that, we actually have more fixtures than we need because we're not providing all of them in this common room. So what is required is we're supposed to have 3 men and 6 women because they always want more for women. And so we provided 2 for men here and 3 for women here. So the other 3 for the women are over here, and the other one that's required for a man is here. But because we're providing 3 for women here, we're also providing 3 for men here. But these don't have to be designated men or women, but total fixture count, because of the way we're doing it, we have actually more than what is required for the 268 people. Does that answer your question? Hello? Are we?
Yep, you're good. So,
Okay.
also there was a question that said, or not a question, sorry, another comment just about the card room that they think that the color scheme is too feminine, so they prefer neutral colors, for everyone using the card room.
Okay, that's good. Interesting. Okay.
Okay. Does anyone else have any other questions, or is there a slide that they want to go back to?
I have a comment on the rugs. We've
Can you?
had,
I can't hear. Can you speak up a little bit?
hold on, let me try something else here. All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, good. Much better.
All right, so again, I'm bringing up the question of rugs. 2
Okay.
reasons. One, for cleanliness. Having rugs is nice in a lot of areas, but we do have spillage, and it happens. But the bigger, and so I'm thinking about cleaning around some of those areas where there are rugs that it just gives us more custodial issues, I think. But the primary comment about rugs, and I don't know if they have rugs that you don't have to worry about this, but we have had the issues with runners, especially like bad weather runners that we put out for people to walk in and dry their shoes or boots or whatever. We've had situations where people have tripped on those. I actually witnessed one of those situations earlier this winter, I guess, was this past winter. We've had to take them out and just not put them in. There are people that shuffle, people that using walkers and pushing and going from the hard surface up onto the rug is it's a little difficult. Again, I don't know if these are done in a way, or the floors are done in a way that's not an issue, but
Mhm.
it's just something I just wanted to mention that you'd be aware of.
Yeah, that we know it is a big issue, especially at senior centers. What we're showing here is these carpets would be inset, so there would be a level transition here. So this flooring and that flooring would be at the same height, and this would not be sitting on top of the floor. And this is the walk-off mat. There are some areas where we are showing area rugs, like right here and right here. Let's see. here, but these are not really in the path of circulation where people are walking. This one here would be a level set. So there would not be an edge to create a tripping hazard.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, Nancy, we have a question. Can you talk about ventilation?
Ventilation. It's just a finishes meeting, but we do have HVAC engineers are working on the ventilation, and it's going to be, modern to meet all the requirements for the number of people and all of that. I don't have a presentation for that at the moment. What are your questions?
I think more to come, to your point. I think the focus here was the interior finishes.
Mhm.
So I think we can flag that one for future.
Okay.
The other one about will there be coat rooms?
So this question had come up before, and at the last presentation, we showed you a diagram where there were storage rooms. I'll go back to the plan. We have storage rooms in all of the program rooms, and there's coat closets in the administrative area, but we're not providing coat closets for people coming in for large gatherings. And a couple of reasons why, because in other jobs that we've done, they've put them in and people don't use them because people don't like to leave their coats unattended. So it ends up being a waste of space or it gets used for other things. So if we have coat closets, there would usually be in the rooms. So if there are some certain areas where we could identify that perhaps something like this, we could make that a coat closet. And of course, in the administrative areas, I mentioned they would have it. But most of the time, people do like to keep their coats with them. So.
Any other questions? Just give it another second in case anybody's typing one in. Okay. All right. I don't see anything else coming through. Let me just double check.
One last comment, if I might.
Okay.
Back to the bathrooms and the limited use of tile for cost savings. Just again, that's one area that I think for sanitary purposes and making sure it stays clean, and I think you don't want to skimp, uh, in the bathrooms for sanitary purposes where all the tiles, all the surfaces should be, cleanable
Mhm.
easily for, various, I don't want to go into them, but various accidents that can happen.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're right. And like I said, we're hoping to get tile throughout the public bathrooms and then just on the wet wall and all the floors as well in the smaller bathrooms.
And I'd like to also comment, agree with Peter Allen's comment about the lounge. Right now, one of the primary purposes of the current lounge that we have is the Wednesday morning knitting and crocheting group. And these lovely ladies like to sit around in their nice, comfy chairs and do their knitting and chat and socialize for several hours.
Mhm.
Because of the openness to the entrance area near the reception desk and forth, there've been, a number of times when the events have caused, large gatherings of people waiting in that area. They're waiting for a bus, waiting to talk to one of the office ladies. Things of that, and it's gotten very loud. And they've complained. I mean, it's become difficult for them to do their thing. So I completely agree with Peter that there should be an area, a way of at least closing off most of it, so that when they do have those kind of groups, um, they can, they can close it off a little bit.
So we are showing this pocket door here, which would help to reduce the distraction of people coming in and out of the door.
Sure.
And the area
the
that
other
Peter was pointing to with where was that?
So Guido, one thing to consider too, is something like that, they would have more options for other space than exists in the present senior center. So they could potentially use a program room as well with more comfortable seating than what exists today.
Exactly, with the better seating, right?
But in that function, though, they want to have, do they need to have the lounge type seating, or would they do it at a table? Because the program rooms are going to be, we're looking at furniture, something like this, multi-purpose furniture arrangements in these rooms, but not lounge type seating.
Right. Again, currently they like to sit in, we have those plush chairs, several different kinds, couch, et cetera. But they generally just sit there, sit back and knit on their laps.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Nancy, we did get another comment. This is just a comment about the size of the fireplace in the lobby lounge.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's the placement that it looks low, potentially raising it to increase ambience for the whole room.
Okay, let's go back and take a look. Raising it.
Comment. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions? Comments? Questions? Is everyone going to be able to make the meeting on Friday at 10? Is that still a good time for our in-person meeting?
Nancy, we'll have to verify that.
Okay. We're talking maybe tomorrow. I guess we can figure that out.
Yep. All right, so I'm just double checking. If we did hold it in person, we would likely try to do it in town hall,
Okay.
Yeah.
In Memorial Hall.
I have to check.
Okay.
I don't say anything
All right.
until verify. Looks like we have a question. As I unmuted you, if you. Oh, okay. Lighting above bookcases. So there's a question. I assume you're asking if will be lighting above the bookcases?
You mean accent lighting or lighting so that you'll be able to see the bookcases? So we have these light fixtures in the ceiling, if you can see that. So this is a wood ceiling, and then there would be these recessed light fixtures, which would that would light this area. But I'm not sure what you're talking about as far as lighting above the bookcases.
Okay, so right now it doesn't propose anything other than the recessed lighting in the ceiling.
Recessed lighting that would light the space, down lights. Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, I'm just taking one last look. Um, okay. Lighting to see the books. Okay. And lighting for the knitters if they're sitting out there. Okay. All right. I don't see any other questions or comments at this point. Nancy, anything else?
No, I don't think so. We're just
Great.
pushing ahead and hoping to get everyone to take an interest and voice your opinion and tell
Okay.
others so we can support the project.
Okay. Thank you. I know our numbers have dwindled over the last little bit, but thank you to everyone who participated. Appreciate your time and interest, and we'll look forward. We will continue to post any upcoming meetings, whether they're by Zoom or in person. They do land on the town's homepage. We have right on the project spotlight, there's the information about the project. But we've also been trying to make them very apparent by the calendar as well. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you all.